every day, every night, I tell you at the end of the show, no jaywalking. And what happens? A student gets hit by a car because the student was jaywalking. Listen, this isn't California where they make jaywalking legal. This is one of 49 states that make it illegal to jaywalk. No jaywalking. It's a legal term meaning to cross the middle of the street without using the crosswalk. It is illegal. Take a look.
And a near tragedy, fortunately avoided. A student came in contact with a vehicle this morning as she was crossing the street. Police say the student was jaywalking near Wooldridge and Wind Hollow Drive when she ran into a moving vehicle. The student was taken to the hospital with minor injuries and should recover soon. CCPD is reminding pedestrians and drivers alike to stay vigilant on the road, especially in the school zone.
And here I am raising some common sense here. Always use the crosswalk. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you cross the street or not. You need to use a crosswalk. Those things, I mean, every time, use a crosswalk. It's not the easy. It's easy. Push, wait, cross. Every city spends over $30,000 to keep people like you and me safe. And we're wasting those tax dollars because other people think that, oh, crossing the curb is not a big deal. Well, to you it isn't. To us, it is a big deal because of safety reasons. We did a whole special talking about jaywalking and how it's illegal. And I don't want to do this again on Throwback Thursday, but if I see stuff like this happening, believe me, you can also petition Texas, the Texas lawmakers, to make jaywalking legal like they do in California. But Texas is turning into California. It's what it is. I mean, don't drink, don't smoke. I mean, distracted driving is just one of the biggest issues ever. That's how people die in car crashes, because people were drinking and people were driving. You have to understand why jaywalking is not allowed, because of safety concerns. And believe me, we know a lot about safety. That's why we do safety brake. I mean, when I walk across the street, I cross at the corner. When I walk across the street, I stop, look, and listen. I hold hands with a grown-up when I'm a kid. Every kid should know how to cross the street with the parents, especially on those curbs. There's an old saying, look both ways before you cross the street. We look to the left, we look to the right. And if it's clear, we cross. You gotta look left, right again while you're walking. You go left, you go right. You look left, you look right. While you're crossing the street. Take a look at this.
Giving way to pedestrians when turning.
That wasn't it. There we go. That's jaywalking. See? That's jaywalking.
See that crosswalk? The city just spent $30,000 to keep you safe.
One sign and on.
Whoa! Feel the thunder, baby! Now that's the way to do it! Good job!
And that's how you know is the right way to cross the street. No jaywalking. That's always the key. I always say at the end of the show. And what do people do? Cross the middle of the street thinking it's no big deal. Safety concerns. Learn how to use a crosswalk, and maybe then you won't learn how to jaywalk. Whole key here. Alright. I promised you on Monday we're going to be doing Family First for the next couple of days. So with that in mind, when we return, Family First. From family arguments, to talking to your child about sex, to even raising a serial killer, to even potty training your child. We're going to cover all that when we return. Stay with us. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this. Like I promised you when we first started our eighth season, we're going to start doing Family First. It's time to put family first and put parenting back in America. From raising your child's IQ, to even raising a serial killer, to even learning how to potty train your kids. From parents not speaking to their children, from a dad who wants to not speak with his kids. Tonight, we're gonna try to focus in on all of this, and we don't focus on it today. We're gonna focus in on it on Friday. We're gonna continue this on Friday. From disciplining your kids to even raising your child's IQ, to knowing whether you could be raising a serial killer. This is the type of show I want every parent to watch. Every parent. It's time to put the sense back in common and put family back in America. And it's the type of lessons you as a parent want to learn when you're trying to become parents. Commando parenting. And even then, you cannot speak to your child. So, with this in mind, I've waited and waited. I've been thinking about this, and believe me, we're going to put family back together, and we're going to put it first. Here, from Dr. Phil to here. So, let's watch. Get your popcorn ready and take some notes while your fingers are getting all buttery. Take some notes. Let's watch. Let's watch together.
I'm in New Jersey, in the living room of Jackie and Zoli Horvath, because they want to be better parents but don't know how. That's why they let me wire their home with hidden cameras, to get a good look at 3 children and the parents who disagree about how to raise them. Hopefully, I can change the life of this family and yours as well.
If you looked at our house from the outside on the average day, it would look like the average home. Inside, the house is absolute chaos. Screaming, yelling.
Right now, I'm so angry I could choke you.
There are days from hell. I met my husband when I was 17. We were high school sweethearts. We've been married for almost 18 years now. And we have 3 children. Nicole is my oldest. She's 16, straight A student. She plays lacrosse. My son is 13. Derek's very intelligent. He just won states on the trampoline. Kelly's 9. She's also very intelligent, very artistic. My husband and I cannot see eye to eye on how to parent the children.
I expect things to be done, and if not, then there's some consequences.
I like to keep things casual. I don't want them to resent me or think I'm mean.
The kids have some simple weekly jobs, taking out the garbage, washing the dishes.
They're all supposed to keep their rooms clean.
They're given ample time to accomplish it, and yet it still doesn't get done.
If I have to ask 2 or 3 times, I yell.
Those same dishes have been in that sink for 4 days.
I have tried to give out some type of punishment. The problem has been that my wife didn't back me up.
There was an incident. Derek didn't bring in the empty garbage cans at the end of the day.
I decided to punish Derek by taking away the TV.
The fact that Derek couldn't sit with us as a family and watch TV was ridiculous. So I let Derek watch TV with us. Because I overruled his discipline efforts, my husband stopped speaking to my son.
It's been like this for a year now. We've had no type of friendly conversations.
You're his father. You don't have a choice of stepping into a role or stepping out.
I've decided to wash my hands with my son because it was a protest on my part to my wife.
Do you know how bad he felt? Because he heard us arguing. He heard every insulting, belittling
work ethic or any sort of thing to make him proud of me.
My husband and I constantly argue, unfortunately, about parenting issues.
Your parenting skills suck. Get back in the game and start doing your fatherly or pack your and get the out.
She can't control herself.
I've slapped him. I've tried to push him down the steps a couple times too.
I've never hit my wife back. I never yell.
Every once in a while, it'll get to the point where it scares me.
I would love to just beat your ass.
I feel like I need to be in the middle of that fight or something just to make it stop.
I usually just try to leave the house and go over a friend's house.
I don't want them to fight.
You and your out.
I do wish my mom would stop yelling all the time, but that's just the way it comes out.
You just thinking, look at the problem, and it'll go away.
I do my job every day.
You are lying. I do my job. Do you do yours?
My house is out of control because my husband won't help parent.
I've become very permissive. I just don't care.
Nicole has a TV, a computer, a phone line, her own cell phone. She has everything. She insisted on it and her father gave in to her. Nicole was caught with alcohol once.
Of course, it's a typical excuse. I'm holding it for a friend.
I tend to drink at the occasional party if I'm not getting myself in trouble, so I don't think they have to worry about me too much.
Okay, we're good. Kelly's had issues being bossy. I have to yell at her to show her that I'm serious.
I want to know who keeps dropping into the floor. Would you stop missing you?
I just want to kill both of you. My family is falling apart right before my very eyes. I am very willing and able at any minute to just pack my bags and get the hell out.
I wasn't trying to take charge.
This is just my first time to see him.
Be in charge of all the discipline.
I can see right away that what we're dealing with here is a family that's lost their rhythm. That's one of the most important factors for a healthy family. You gotta have a rhythm, you gotta have things that are flowing, and she's defined it here. Chaos.
It doesn't matter. Why is Daddy being such a Does anybody have an answer for that?
Active communication is a critical factor to your successful family. I guarantee you, that's not communication, that's just noise.
I have tried to give out some type of punishment.
The key word here is tried to give out punishment. Who's running this show?
She didn't back me up.
There is no way you can justify not speaking to your own child.
I've decided to wash my hands with my son.
That's not an option. I mean, I've decided to wash my hands for my son. I'm coming to see you, Dad.
Answer the question.
I've definitely inherited some of my father's worst traits. My father always did have a very bad temper.
I'd raise my voice. You could probably hear me out on the street out here. When I holler, I holler. I don't hold anything back. I let people know what's going on.
He did use a belt on me.
They'd get 3 whacks across the fanny.
There were many times I went to school with bruises.
She got the message.
I resigned myself to definitely not be like my father.
Oh yeah, she got the message, all right. She got the message of rejection, anger, bitterness, frustration, and the absence of the abilities to communicate her feelings in a constructive way. Good job.
My parents never asked me about sex. They seemed very uncomfortable about the subject, so we never talked about it.
Nicole had a very very serious boyfriend for a while. I didn't think they should be allowed up in her room, on the bed, with the door closed. But my husband overruled me.
He's very level-headed and mature. With Nicole, I'm rather liberal.
What you call liberal, I call dangerous.
He's a kid.
I'm a disgrace.
It was a protest.
Ridiculous.
She'll get physical.
I don't want them to fight.
It's time for me to make a house call. In fact, I may need to pack a bag and move in with Oli and Jackie here. These aren't bad people. These are people that have just lost their way. They need a clear definition of what their job is. They need a really good plan to execute it. Well, reinforcements are on the way. Next, find out what happened when I showed up.
Wow. Coming up, Dr. Phil makes that house call to those two parents, and what he says could even make you realize that you're not a bad parent, that you're not a bad person, or a bad mother and father, but you have actions to your consequences, and learning the traits from your family, from your other family, your father. Stay with us. Welcome back. Tonight we're putting family back in America and focusing on family first. From disciplining your kids to even yelling at your kids. This special throughout the next couple of days, depending on the length of this episode, we're going to be focusing on family first. We focused in on spanking years ago, but I want to focus more on the rhythm of the family. You gotta have a rhythm. But for the Horvats, it's just, I don't want to scream at, you know, I don't want this, I don't want that, I'm not speaking to you, I tried this, I tried that. The whole key word here is try. Now you might see what happens when a house call is made. Take a look.
Control because my husband won't help parents.
He didn't back me up.
A year ago, my husband stopped speaking to my son.
My parents never asked me about sex.
He's a kid.
I don't want them to fight.
Wait.
May I come in?
Absolutely.
Is this family in trouble?
I think the family is in trouble in many ways. The dynamics between my husband and I directly affects the children.
What have you done to contaminate this family situation?
Have to think about that. I guess I've never thought of that angle of it before. What am
Well,
I?
it's interesting you say you've never thought of that. This is your family, you're the father, the husband, and you've got trouble, but you've never asked yourself what you're doing to contribute to the problem?
I guess I've never thought in depth about that part of it, even though I know that I am.
I walked around your backyard today. I have seen what you've done out there for this family. The tree houses, the swings, the pool. You've tried to create a cocoon here for your family. And you've done a really good job of that. You have the love in your heart, Zoli. I know you do. I see it and I feel it in your desperation for this family. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're right. I just never heard anyone describe it like that.
You're doing what you know how to do. You can't do what you don't know how to do. I want to tell you how to do the things you don't know how to do.
I'm willing to listen.
Number one, you need the energy to do it, and that comes from the love in your heart. You would die for those children.
I would.
What I want you to do is be willing to live for them. The second thing, you need a really good plan, and that's what I'm here to give you.
What do you think? I can just say, I'm not going to discipline the kids anymore and just walk away? You've got to be kidding me.
Do you think that it's okay to yell and scream and fight in front of these children?
Absolutely not.
I know it's not.
Then why do you do it?
I feel it is a loss of control, and I guess I've done it so much for so long,
It's a comfortable routine.
Let's take a look at what we're talking about.
You told me just a couple of weeks ago that you were going to get back in the game and start doing this. All you have to do at the end of the day is come home and spend a little positive time. You can't even do that.
Do you think you can go up those stairs and yell and scream like that through paper-thin walls? And your children don't know what's going on?
I know they do.
So you make a choice. I can either get the fix of venting my anger, or I can protect and nurture my children. They lose, you win.
I know I need to change.
Well, from this point forward, you're on notice. Number one, that's abusive. Number two, you're going to be making a conscious choice that says, I'm either going to feed this addictive need I have to vent, or I'm going to take care of my children. Tell me about your relationship with Derek.
It's non-existent.
What do you mean non-existent?
I've just disengaged with him completely.
Would it surprise you for me to say that I believe your way of dealing and interacting with this is just as vicious, just as aggressive, and just as destructive as hers is? One of the most aggressive and hostile things you can do to another human being is to withhold the love and care and affection and comfort that they need. What effect do you think this is having on him?
It's bad. It's very bad. It's going to have bad memories for him later on. I know.
You don't speak to him. You don't acknowledge him. You have no involvement with him whatsoever. Is that okay with you?
No, it's not okay, and I feel very bad about it.
Let's hear what he said.
I don't think my dad thinks I'm a good son because I think he thinks that I'm a disgrace and that I don't have any work ethic.
You're raising adults here. You're not raising children. You're preparing this young man to go into the world. And what he says right now, my father thinks I am a disgrace.
That is painful to hear.
You want to know the first thing that I think you need to do?
Of course.
Find your son and sit down with him. And you need to apologize. You need to look that boy in the eye and say, son, I don't know what happened. I lost my way. And I am sorry. And I am ashamed. I have not been a good father to you. It isn't your fault. You aren't a bad child. You aren't a bad boy. I love you. I want you to know there is one person in this world, if nobody else, that loves you and is proud of who you are and what you do. And I am committing to you now that I'm going to make that up to you. Will you do it?
I will.
Will you support that? Or do you want to get off on some power trip of cutting him off at the knees so you can be the queen bee and cheat that boy out of his dad because you want to vent some immature, ridiculous, childish anger?
If he had it in him to go apologize to my son, that would be...
What do you mean, if he had it in him? Look, somehow or another, you've decided that you're going to take everybody's inventory. You want everybody fixed but you. Well, let me tell you something, Mom. You're as big a culprit in this situation as anybody involved in the game. You don't have the right to sabotage him with those children, and you need to stop it, and you need to stop it right now.
I've never sabotaged my husband's relationship with my kids.
You say he's incompetent, he's a poor father. You criticize the things that he does in front of the children. You tell them don't pay any attention to what he says. I'm telling you what's going to be. And you're telling me you don't think that sabotages his role as a father? You have attacked him physically in front of the children, have you not?
Yes.
Your daughter has had to call the police because you were fighting with him.
Yes.
You override his discipline. Other than that, I don't see any problem. The biggest mistake that Nicole could make right now would be sex, drugs, alcohol, those sorts of things, right?
Certainly.
Do you talk to her about those things?
Not seriously.
Well, let's see what she's had to say about some of these issues.
My parents never asked me about sex. My parents seemed very uncomfortable about the subject, so we never talked about it. I had one long relationship where we did have a sexual relationship.
Does that surprise you?
No, we suspected it.
But yet you still never talked to her about it?
No, maybe I felt I could tag along with my wife, but she should take control of that subject.
She's going to have sex with guys. And it takes a guy to know a guy. It takes a guy to say, Now, Nicole, let me tell you what guys will think. Let me tell you about being a guy. You can tell her things instinctively that mom can't tell her. I'm going to tell you, if you'll do what I'm telling you to do, you can turn this around. You're going to be the first people in America to read Family First, the book that I've done on this subject, and it's got a lot of guidance in it about what your definition of success is as parents. And one of the things you're going to read is the 5 factors for a phenomenal family. And factor number 1 is that you create an environment that pulls for everybody having a chance to be who they authentically, uniquely are. Home is the environment that you set up where everybody has a soft place to fall. They know that they belong. They know that if they weren't there, that something would be missing. And that's what we're going to do. I have an assignment for you. I want you to find 30 minutes, at least 5 days a week, and I want you to work on your parenting plan. What are we going to do with Kelly? What are we going to do with Derek? What are we going to do with Nicole? How are we getting along? I want to put the family back in this home. I want to put the rhythm back in this home. So, partnership, do this together. Because we're going to be watching you like a hawk.
When I left, the cameras stayed behind. Later in the show, you'll see if the Horvaths transform their family or if chaos continued to rule the day.
We'll have that story for you later. But there's a lot more to this family than meets the eye. Coming up, do you know, how would you describe your potty training techniques? Well, there is a way you can teach your children how to use the toilet, and it's only in one day. Just one day. You're saying, yeah, right. Stay with us and you'll see. You may be thinking about tuning out this special, but this special is all about families who are at the breaking point. You husbands and wives, your job is to be a mom and a dad, and you thinking kids don't come with instructions? You gotta go to experts? Well, I'm here to tell you tonight, we can put family back in America, and we're gonna put family first. That's why we're doing this throughout the rest of the season, and that's why I'm coming at you tonight with all the issues that you may have, from raising your child's IQ to raising a serial killer, to even being in a dysfunctional family. Tonight we're dealing with a lot of issues, and it's going to take us a couple days, or throughout the rest of the couple hours. Now, what if I were to tell you that you can potty train your child in less than a day? You can be all like, yeah, right. Yeah, right, it won't work. Well, you're about to see a couple celebrities who invited Dr. Phil to take this technique. Will it work or won't it? You be the judge. Take a look.
I'm making a couple of house calls today to Rodney and Holly Peets and Vanessa Marcel and Brian Austin Greens because both families have a major challenge in front of them. It's time to potty train their little ones, Robinson and Cassius. So let's go in and meet the folks. Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Molly.
Molly, how you doing? Rodney, how are you? Robinson is 22 months old, right?
Yes.
What makes you think he's ready?
I keep yelling potty, potty, I want to go to the potty. So I think he's ready. We're seeing more and more stains around the house.
Yeah, our carpet cleaning bill's going up.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to potty train Robinson in less than a day. First off, what is the number one way to learn something? Teach it. And the way we're going to do that is we have a boy doll here. Robinson, do you know what this is? He's bald like me. He doesn't have any hair. His name is Buster. All right, potty training patrol continues.
Who is it?
It's the potty training patrol. Hey guys.
Hi,
How you
so
doing?
nice to
How
see
you doing?
you.
Fine, good to see you. So what's your name?
Cassius.
Cassius. Very cool. Do you know my name?
Dr. Phil.
There you go. Hey, do you know what this is?
It's a baby.
What do you want to call the baby? How about Clarence?
Clarence.
Perfect. Do you think you could teach Buster how to use the potty chair?
Yeah.
So we're going to have Robinson teach potty training, because when you teach it, it crystallizes in your brain. Pull this big boy pants down. Good job. Now, can you put him on the potty chair?
I got Buster.
Look! What do you think of that? You showed him how to do it. Cassius is teaching. There you go. The doll is modeling.
He's a tiny.
You guys are huge social rewards. Child loves to please you guys, loves for mom and dad to be proud. You're going to do that because when baby uses the potty chair, we are absolutely going to be thrilled. We're going to be clapping and blowing horns and having a party. Cassius is going to watch baby getting all of that attention and thinking, well, now that's pretty cool. The whole time we're going to be saying, all right, now how about you? Do you need to go too?
Do you have to use the potty? Sweetie, do you have to go potty?
You have to go potty?
Do you want to use the potty, just like Clarence did?
No.
He's going to say yes eventually. Is he going to have some accidents today? Probably so, and that's okay. When he has an accident, then he's going to rehearse going to the potty chair 10 times. Not punitively. We're just going to walk him to the potty chair, pull down the pants, sit down, pull them back up, walk away, go back, sit down. He's just going to go through the routine several times to build a muscle memory of what's going on. So we've got teaching, we've got modeling, we've got muscle memory practice, we've got great celebration and social reward, and we've got the repetition of everything in a non-distracted environment. But the big party comes when Robinson uses the potty chair. Does he have somebody that he really is excited about?
Yeah, that would be Nemo.
Nemo.
When he uses the potty chair, he gets to call Nemo on the phone and talk to Nemo to give the good news about what a big boy he is. Nemo is a friend of mine, and Nemo told me whenever you use the potty chair, you're supposed to call him. Would you like to talk to Nemo?
Yeah.
He's so tight.
If you can pee-pee in the potty chair, we'll go call Nemo.
Do you have to go potty?
Put your pants down.
Pull your pants down.
Put your pants down.
Want some more? Apple juice. Quit filling you up. Yeah.
Pee-pee.
Rodney, you have to go.
So now Brian's gonna pee in this for you all.
Then I get to call Halle Berry afterwards. Then I went potty.
Go, pee-pee in the potty. Go, pee-pee in the potty. He's gonna go any second.
Come on, let's go in the back.
Cassius. Cassius, you want to talk to Nemo on the phone? Let's call Nemo.
Yeah, Nemo, say hi.
Hi.
Hey, Robinson, it's Nemo.
Oh, Nemo.
Say, I went potty.
Bye.
Who's that?
Hi, Nemo.
Is this Cassius? Tell him what you did.
It's a party.
Yay!
Goodbye, Dr. Sam.
Nice one. See you later. Gotta play.
Thank you very much, Dr. Phil.
Thank you. Come back again anytime. Wait, Robinson, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're gonna skip ahead to this. But I always want to sit there and say, come on here and say, like, it really works. It really does. Muscle memory, teaching, crystallization of the brain, it works. Cassius is the child's teaching the doll, because when you teach it, it crystallizes in your brain. That way the child can say, oh, okay, so the doll's using the potty, that means I'm going to have to use the potty as well. If it can work for your child in one day, okay. If it don't, try to find other techniques that you can use or create your own. Either way it's going to work out. Your child will be pottying the party. Still ahead, how you can raise your child's IQ later on. Could you be raising a serial killer? Could your child be one of the 14 characteristics of a serial killer? Next, the question often parents ask is, how well do I know my child? Well, you're about to see an experiment what happens when some parents send their kids to daycare, a two-way mirror, and a camera. How well do these parents know their kids? Please don't go away. From potty training to IQ tests, we're putting the family back in America, and we're dealing with family first. Here's a question for you that's often asked. How well do I know my child? Well, it should be, how well do you know your kids? Would you set up a play date with your kids to find out how your child is? Is he or she a brat, or is he or she a little angel? Well, you're about to see an experiment being done when some parents let their kids have some fun in a daycare center filled with toys and all. How well do these parents know their kids, and what can you do the next time this ever happens? Take a look.
Invited 13 children between the ages of 4 and 6 to participate in our experiment to see how well their parents knew them. We installed our cameras behind a two-way mirror to watch their every move. A few of our parents didn't seem to know their kids at all. First, let's see how Bailey's mom, Deanna, describes her son.
Bailey, he is 6.5. He's an exceptional kid who's super smart. He's very loving. He gets along well with other kids. He's not a vindictive child. He doesn't generally lash out at other children and try to hurt them on purpose. I'd be very surprised if he got into a fight.
We invited Bailey's mom to our studios for a private screening to review what our hidden cameras revealed about Bailey's real behavior. As soon as Bailey gets in the room, he starts fighting.
Oh, you're gonna taste it.
No.
That's not the only boy he hurt.
Are you okay?
The basketball net didn't stand a chance against Bailey. Looks like there's another side to Bailey's behavior you don't know about. Okay, tell me what you think.
I don't know if I can speak right now. I'm appalled by my own son's behavior. This is not the child that I normally see.
Well, let's take a look at this. Does that seem aggressive to you?
Very aggressive.
Because you said he gets along well with others.
Normally.
Now, you say he's not a vindictive child, correct?
Well, that's what I thought.
And let's see. See, you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Right.
So
This I would want fixed, definitely.
Yeah, sure.
I want all this fixed.
okay. I'm a strong believer that parents today are disconnected from their kids in a lot of different ways. That is your child. Is that okay with you?
No, absolutely not. It's not okay with his father or me, but we would never normally let him in that type of situation without watching him closely.
But he's going to be in situations where you can't watch him all the time.
You're right.
I don't think your son is some kind of dysfunctional, out of control monster that needs intervention. Will it get to that point if you as a parent don't plug in and get involved? Absolutely, no doubt. The difference between what Bailey does at 6 and what he does at 14, 15, and 16, he's not throwing a block, he's driving a car. What most parents do is they talk to children about what not to do. Don't you throw chairs, don't you throw blocks. What you need to do is talk about what he can do. Here's how you do behave in this situation. This isn't about being a boy. This is about being an out-of-control boy. You need to talk specifically about helping him to develop empathy, where he understands, I want you to tell me how the little boy felt when you hit him in the head with a block. It's important that we develop in children the ability to understand the impact of their actions on the other children. We know you're a loving and devoted mother, so it's not about blame, it's just about accountability. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I brought in Brea's mom, Cindy, to see how well she knows her daughter. Let's take a look at what you told us about her.
Okay. My daughter is Brea and she's 6 years old. Brea is full of life. She has a lot of energy. I think Brea gets along really well with other kids. She likes to steal the show. I would be surprised if Brea just sat still and was bored.
Hi, Dr. Phil.
And she's a flirt.
Yes, that is true.
Let's take a look at her in a play situation.
You guys like puzzles? Everybody pick a partner. Everybody needs a partner.
Kids are playing with puzzles. Brea's playing alone.
I'm shocked.
Kids are all playing together. Brea's off to the side, looking bored. Considering the chaos in the room, Brea's behavior may be perfectly normal and adaptive. She is, after all, the only one creatively playing alone. But it's still very different from the behavior that her mother predicted, and in fact may indicate a lack of confidence.
I am so shocked.
Tell me about that.
I would never expect her to be sitting by herself. That really is not how she acts around me. And that's really not how she acts at school either.
You guys like puzzles?
Let's take a look here.
Does everybody pick a partner?
Everybody pick a partner. She never even moved.
Yeah, she didn't.
So what do you not know about Brea?
I guess I don't know her.
I think everything you've said about her, that she is energetic and life of the party, I'll bet you that that is all true and accurate. But I'm wondering how much of that is a function of A, that she draws power from you, and B, when she's in a situation that she has to create her own experience, that she may lack the confidence to do that. The reason that that would be of interest to me, if I were you, is you guys have just moved, correct?
Right.
That could be a difficult transition time for her. It might be good ahead of time to maybe take some steps to make this transition a little easier for her, such as going to her new school before it opens, spending some time out on the playground. You can also ask the teacher for a class roster and find out who lives close to you in your neighborhood and ask if the children could come over. Then when she walks into the school, she knows this kid and this kid and this kid, and oh, there's Miss So-and-so. I've got a handle on this.
I would have never thought of those things to do because I think maybe I've just expected a lot. So I'm going to be aware of that now.
So do we have a plan?
We have a plan. Thank you.
I think that's a great idea, because if you just move into a neighborhood and you're trying to find a new school, here's what you can do. I think that's a really good idea. Find a new school, find a class roster, get together with the parents. I mean, not just call them up on the phone. Get together with their kids and ask, hey, you want to come over? Just, if you live in a nearby neighborhood with the friends that the child is having, ask them, hey, you want to come over for a play day at this place, that place, so-and-so? And they're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then you're getting together, you're developing social skills. And at that time, it's like, you know, your child does not know how to communicate because he or she is shy. The best way ever to develop social skills is to be a social butterfly. As an autistic, as a special needs person, I can find something that makes me happy and then use that to improve my social skills. That's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what I'm still doing. And that's exactly how it works. So, props to this technique, and if this ever works in your family, then okay. If not, then don't come crying to me going all boo-hoo, it won't work on you, you stupid little fucking bitch. I didn't make this up. Dr. Phil did. And believe me, we're going to put family back together in America, and we're going to put family first. When we come back, how well could you be raising a serial killer? We're going to look at the 14 characteristics of a serial killer, and you're also going to meet a family who might be raising a serial killer. Is it possible that this family is raising a serial killer? How can you tell if you're raising a brat? Stay with us. Could you be raising a criminal? Could your child be a criminal in the future? What if one of your children has one of the 14 characteristics of a serial killer? In just a minute, you're going to meet a family. In just a short time, you're going to meet a family who has a child who has almost over 5 of the 14 characteristics. But before we meet this kid, I thought it might be good to tell you about the 14 characteristics of a serial killer. Because you can never know if you're raising a criminal. So let's take a look at these traits. Let's take a look at these characteristics. It could be mental illness or psychopathy. It may exhibit degrees of mental illness or psychopathy which could due to homicidal behavior. The lack of empathy or remorse. It often lacks guilt and have a shallow effect on somebody like your child. The need for control. It's all about exercising power and control over their victims and may humiliate, torture, and kill them. Manipulation. They may have manipulative, may use guiltiness, superficial charm, and pathological lie to manipulate others. That's where it's like, I didn't do it! I didn't do it! Predatory behavior. They may be predators but actually search for victims. Delusional ideas. Or they believe they're another person. Like multiple personality disorder, which is different from being a serial killer. Fantasy life. They may have some fantasy life put in place, or have a dream put in place. Self-delusion. The lack of core values. Secretiveness. The failure to accept responsibility. Impulsivity. Sensation seeking. And they may also have a mask of sanity, which in a state of adaptation that allows them to appear normal and charming. So it's kind of like Two-Face, half good, half evil. For the family you're about to meet, could they be raising a criminal? And what if any could happen, could be the big deal if it did happen? Well, as you're about to see, it can be frightening to watch. And I have to warn you, some of the footage you're about to see is just clearly despicable and very inappropriate. Ask your kids to leave the room right now. Because this is a story that your kids do not want to hear. Take a look.
I'm afraid of my son. Eric, sometimes he can be very loving, but in minutes he can change. My daughters are afraid of Eric. Sometimes they sleep in my room because they're scared. We never know what he's going to do. He likes to beat his little sister up. He'll bloody her lip just to watch them bleed. Eric doesn't show any remorse.
I don't like hurting them. I just can't help it.
My husband is in denial.
Their fights are normal sibling rivalry.
Eric stole a pocket knife from his friend. If I'm cutting a tomato, I feel like I have to hide the knife, but it's horrible. Eric has a fascination with fire. In our last house that we moved in, he started the fire in the kitchen. My husband's reaction was, it's a normal boy thing. A mother shouldn't say this, but it is like you see a little demon in him. His eyes, they're blue, but when he gets in these modes, you could honestly think there were fire in it. One evening, he got my kitten, put her head in the hole. I was very disturbed that he thought it was funny. sometimes Eric is shy and withdrawn.
I don't really have any friends. Never get to meet anyone.
I would call him a loner, but he's like a loner who needs attention. He'll go off in the woods by himself.
Oh, look at this belly.
Any kind of animal, he makes us believe he's interested in them, and then we catch him pulling the legs off or the tails off.
It's just a wonderful spider.
He'd come in and told me that he and a friend of his had some firecrackers and that they blew up a frog with one. And he seemed to think that was funny.
One day, he had his pants down in front of his little sister.
It kind of angered me, but he's a little prankster. I took the exposing himself along those lines.
But I'm scared if he gets bigger than me, then he's really gonna hurt me one day.
Brian, when Eric has a bowel movement, he wipes it on the walls, it could be on the floor, he flings it there, here, there.
Eric, what's that?
Oh, what about there in the closet? No, that's not chocolate.
It's
poop. It's not fair!
Clean off the mark.
I didn't do it for the last time!
Spray some stuff on there. Do it right. Gross and embarrassing. And I feel like it's my fault that he does it. I am in fear every day that I'm going to get that phone call that he's either dead or in jail. Dr. Phil, I'm begging you to help my son. He's 9 years old. I'm terrified of him. My marriage is falling apart. Please put my family back together.
Tell me what y'all's reaction is to seeing that all pulled together.
It's hard because as a mother you don't want to feel that about your child, but I can't help it.
You feel overwhelming guilt because you wish you could flip a switch and he disappears. You're either going to do this right now or your life is going to be ruined. Stacy, what do you want from me?
Help to put my family back together, to help us understand our son. Everybody puts a Band-Aid on it. Doesn't give us any suggestions to help or anything.
And so your theory is that this is biochemical or medical. You have desperately scratched and clawed to get diagnoses from people in hopes that if we'll label this and give us a pill, it will get better. But you haven't found that, have you?
It won't come off.
Why do you suppose a child would start wiping feces on the wall, torturing animals, hitting his sister to watch her bleed?
I honestly have no idea.
The crews that were there shooting at your house came back and reported out of hundreds of shows, never before has a child seemed so hungry for male attention. Let's take a look at this.
I definitely am envious of not being able to do a lot of the things with Eric that I think a lot of, father and sons get to do.
He doesn't have a fishing license. He's promised me he'll get one, but he keeps on forgetting.
I'm not trying to convict you of neglecting your son. How does he label that in his mind?
Probably as me pushing him away.
This is not a behavior problem with a child. This is a manifestation of a family that's out of control. You two fight in front of him, sometimes about him.
That's true.
Absolutely changes who he is.
You're in trouble for hitting her. Go to your room.
He gets upset, so you get upset with him. And pretty soon, we've just gone into a white-hot tantrum where he's beating his head against the school desk. He's putting 10 different holes in the wall. It's an escalating sort of thing. Raise hell, and you get undivided attention. Let's look for a second.
I didn't do it!
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and we'll just say that maybe you didn't. Thank you for cleaning it up, all right?
But you know, I know, the town fool knows that he did it. So why are you debating that he did it? You have to take this child back to the nuts and bolts and reparent him. I would begin by stripping his room totally. Take everything out of it except his bed. That's commando parenting. Toys and entertainment. He needs to earn those things. Your challenge becomes to catch him doing things right. And when he does, shower him with attention. When he's doing something wrong, you have to withdraw that. You are in a power struggle, and the price of poker just went up. You must assert control. There are profiles of criminals, certain characteristics from their childhood. There are 14 characteristics of a serial killer. Your son has 9 of the 14. Jeffrey Dahmer had 7. Does that tell you that you're raising a serial killer? No. But there is a connection there. The big difference here is Eric has 2 parents that absolutely love him, care about his future. That wasn't present in these other bad outcomes. It is present here. Tell me what your thinking is at this point.
Oh, stop it right there. Like we talked about, there are other characteristics to a serial killer like bedwetting, and if you're a male, you're one of the 14 traits. But you have to tighten the nuts and bolts back. That's commando parenting. Strip his room. He doesn't need this, those video games, a computer. He has to earn those things one step at a time. That's commando parenting. That's something you can relate to. When we return, could your child be watching 9 hours of TV and not get any exercise? And later, how well can your child score an IQ? The foods that you can use. That you can use to help. Plus some celebrities that talk about their parents. Talk about how they raise their kids. Please stay with us. Now it's time to shine the spotlight on the celebrities. The question is, what do the stars learn from their parents? Let's take a look at some celebrities that learn a lot from their parents.
My mother has always said, don't let anyone break your spirit. She said you can let them tame it a little bit, but don't let them break it.
My parents taught me that everything I've achieved, I've been able to imagine first and then go for it.
All life is valuable. All life, and should be treated equally. That's the most important lesson I got from my mother and my father.
My mom was mom, dad, best friend, playmate. Like, she was everything. One of the things that she still tells me to this day, that beauty really is as beauty does, and she's always reminding me, you can have a lot of money, you can be what the world thinks is beautiful, but if you're not really good, like on the inside, and you don't live in a good way, or treat others the way you want to be treated, then none of that stuff really matters.
My mother was the only person that would say, you won't be the prettiest, you won't be the smartest, you won't be the funniest, and you won't be the most talented. When you put all the things you are together, then that's where the magic is.
Parents do ride on the slate of who we are, and there are 2 Hollywood stars that know a lot about that. Patricia Heaton is America's best-known mom on Everybody Loves Raymond, and actress Amy Brenneman plays a single mom on Judging Amy. I sat down parent to parent with these 2 real-life moms to talk about their biggest challenges. As working moms, Patricia Heaton and Amy Brenneman both struggle with their 2 jobs, Hollywood and motherhood.
I feel split all the time. I've just found it incredibly difficult to be the kind of mom I want to be and to work at the same time.
I paid a visit to their sets and learned that during the workday, Patricia's 4 boys are in school, while Amy brings her 3-year-old daughter Charlotte with her.
After she was born, I felt guilty when I went to her, and then as she's gotten older and I've continued to work, I kind of realized that is being a working parent. Like, it doesn't mean that she's not doing well, it doesn't mean that I'm not doing well my job.
If you knew then what you know now, would you have done the show, and would you have had a child knowing you were going to do the show?
No. My job is not conducive to having time to raise a family. When I came back to work, Charlotte was 4 months old, and they were writing as they had always written for me, which is a lot. And I came to them and I was weeping, and I said, I can't do this. I was sobbing, and some of it was postpartum and exhaustion, but my manager put it really well. She said, you're feeling divided between your 2 children. I thought, that's right, because this was my baby as well.
Sure.
Put this on after the pants, Einstein.
You said it was hard to balance the 2 worlds.
Yes.
Did you feel guilty about it?
I feel guilty every day. Don't you think most moms always feel guilty today?
I'm not sure they're guilty necessarily yet, but I think they're scared that they're not doing the right thing.
Yes.
Or that they are doing something that's scarring their children for life and they don't know it.
Right.
Yeah, as opposed to Liam's.
I still feel bad that I'm working while they're at school, because there's a lot of stuff that just needs to get done that involves them that I can't get done.
But do you still do mom stuff? Do you get up like everybody else and shovel Cheerios in the morning?
Yes, I don't know. Now I could blame this on me working, but I have not a great amount of patience. The minute I started back to work, I woke up and I was screaming at my third kid.
Get in your room! Don't you talk to me like that! I'm your mom! You do what your mom and dad said!
And it's just because I had this whole day ahead of me, and back to work, and had to get their school stuff. And school doesn't start for 2 weeks, I already feel I'm behind. And then I get frustrated, and I take it out on them, and then of course I take it out on my husband. But
I'm scared, and I wasn't even there.
No, I actually
beat me
did.
up, Scotty.
My husband and my oldest son, I don't know what happened. I got so frustrated, I couldn't even think of words, and I actually did it like a cartoon. So I was like, I couldn't speak. I had to stomp. I stomped. Who stomps except in a cartoon? He's calling social services right now.
You listen, if my parents lit an orphanage on fire on Christmas Eve, they wouldn't be as bad as your parents.
If you had to look back at all of your mothering, in retrospect, what's the biggest mistake you made? The thing that you go, oh my God, will I ever overcome this?
Well, a number of times, my oldest son has said to me, Mom, remember the time you punched a hole in the door? So I guess that would have been sort of a mistake.
Yeah. Was he there at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually didn't punch the door. I slammed it open and it hit something and a hole went through the door. I can't believe I'm on national television telling people this. This is not an everyday occurrence, by the way, and that was many years ago.
Oh, sure, we believe it.
So tell me about the times you've lost your temper. You must have lost your temper with the boys.
This is my interview. And in fact, if children grow up in a Stepford wife home and they never see any emotion, they never see any frustration, the first time they get out in the real world and experience that, they go nuts, they freak out.
Right.
Because they've been in a success-only situation.
Right.
And they've seen that you can get upset and then everything is fine. The world doesn't come to an end. They realize that you get upset, you get over it. And so they learn to not be fragile about that. There are good things in showing emotion.
Right.
Do you feel better?
I do feel better. Want to see the Courtney? Here's the Courtney. Oh, this is my mother, actually.
Oh, really? Judging Amy is art imitating life. Amy's mother, Frederica, was one of the first women to graduate Harvard and the second woman ever appointed a Connecticut judge. Her legacy lives on the show, and with her daughter. If you had 1 minute left in this world to thank your mother for the greatest gift and touch she had had in your life, what would you say to her? Mom, you gave me what?
She gave me a positive outlook. She's a very optimistic soul.
For Patricia, whose mom passed away when she was only 12, motherhood has been an adjustment. Although she seems like the typical mom on Everybody Loves Raymond, at home with her boys, she still wonders if she does enough. If I was sitting on this couch with any or all of your grown sons and said, tell me the biggest gift you got from your mother, what would it be?
I think they really know that they're loved. My favorite time is at the end of the day, with each one, as you read the story, you talk, you snuggle, you say prayers, you go to bed. It's very intimate, you know, and we have that every single night.
If you have that with your children, if you're able to sit on that bed and talk to them and they're vulnerable, do you really think it matters whether you were there at 1 in the afternoon folding laundry over the last 11 years?
I guess it doesn't.
Would it be best if you had the best of both worlds? But the truth is, they might not have all of their mom if you were there, because you might be wishing you were somewhere else. And the idea is to strike the balance.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty good judge of these things, and from talking to you the way I have, sounds to me like you've kept a foot in both worlds very effectively. Now, I think we found the perfect example of a truly spoiled child. When we come back...
All right, now we know the celebrities talking about how they raise their kids. when we come back, a spoiled kid who watches 9 hours of TV a day. Just 9 hours. Won't even go outside. Stay with us. Okay, so we dealt with potty training. We dealt with arguing with your kids. We dealt with raising a criminal. Now we're going to do something. Now we're going to discuss something we've never even talked about. Spoiling your kids. Could you spoil your kids? What happens if you were to spoil your child with lots of things in their life? You know, Xboxes, guitars, lots of things. We have to go back to 2 words. Commando parenting. And 1 word that ends... that starts with an N and ends with an O. The N or the O. It's no. No means no. This ain't like the Family episode where James Bond wants to have sex with this woman. No, James. Sorry, no, James. Yes, you're going to have sex with him. No, James. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Okay, I guess I will. See that? 50 no's and a yes means yes. But try to meet a mom who says that she spoils her child and doesn't understand the word no. Take a look.
My name is Rhonda, and my 4-year-old daughter is spoiled, rotten.
I have so many princess dolls. I want to get more princess dolls.
I excessively buy her things. 75 newbies, 237 stuffed animals, 22 pairs of shoes, well over 100 dresses. The only dresses that she does wear are the pink ones. We do live in a 4-bedroom house, and we have no rooms to call our own. This is all your toys in your daddy's room. This is a guest room. We call this Kylie's apartment.
I think the biggest problem is that Rhonda can't stand up to our 4-year-old daughter.
It's so hard to say no to her. She knows how to use her eyes and her little smile.
I don't like to get this one.
No, you have a whole bucket of puppies. If she doesn't get a toy every time we go out, she pitches a fit. I feel so guilty if I don't buy her something.
Mommy, I can get it.
But then I feel so guilty when I do buy her something. This vicious cycle.
It's so easy. Just say no, and if Kylie doesn't listen, just punish her.
It's not so bad. She was crying. Rich has taken away my credit cards, and he has put into little envelopes for eating out and household things.
She's pretty good at sticking to the cash budget now.
I switch money from envelope to envelope and end up getting more money for Kylie.
Good morning.
Kylie loves the UPS guy. She calls him the big brown guy.
The big brown guy got me this.
There's been days that the UPS guy hasn't stopped, and she'll go, oh, we need to order something so he can stop. She'll make a big scene if anybody borrows anything of hers. Kylie had gotten into an actual fight with one of her little friends. It totally blew me away. I did not know that she had a violent little person in there. I hate that. I am turning my beautiful little girl into this little beast. I need help. It's almost like a drug addiction. I'm failing. I'm failing as a mom, failing my marriage. It's so hard because I can't say no.
You can't say no? Well, you can't try now. Mommy, can I have this? No. Grandma, no. You don't even know what it is. The answer no. I know your face, I know. It's like with George Lopez's mom. Everything, George Lopez's grandma. Whatever you wanted, it was no. Grandma, no! You don't even know what it is. Yeah, well, no, it's not. Why are you crying? Huh? Why are you crying? Forget about that party. Mira como. You got a lot of things already. You don't need a party. So you can show off. No. Why are you crying now? No. Chuck E. Cheese. You want to see a mouse? Pull the refrigerator out. Fuck our mouse back there. Pull it out. What you buy your free? Buy your free. Buy your free. You saw him? Happy birthday. You saw him? You saw Chucky one in the oven? Why you crying? Because of a mouse? Because of chocolate bunny? Okay, I thought you'd have cried about the mouse. It's like, why are you crying? That's all the parents would say. Why do you cry? And then your dad would drag out the black. You're out drunk. Hey, Bill, that's the bike you wanted. Why are you crying? Those might be tears of joy. I had to pull the fucking mic all the way out in the garage. Is that Huffy? When we come back, could your child be watching 9 hours of TV? And later, could you raise your child's IQ? Stay with us. Could you let your child watch 9 hours of television a day and not even go outside? And you're not even 3 years old? It's times like this when we do broadcasts to where we lost it, you know? We give in, it's all out the window. I'm here to tell you, turn off the TV, get your child going outside, 1 hour a day. Take a look at this mom who lets her child watch 9 hours of TV.
I'm the mom of Dylan, the 2.5-year-old couch potato. He watches anywhere from 5 to 9 hours of TV a day. He's become a TV addicted monster. It's 7:30 and we're about to start our big day of TV. Our TV lineup starts with Caillou and goes to Barney, Dr. Phil. It's 11:30 now, and we've switched from Dora to Blue's Clues. Carrie Ann bringing him his snacks. The waitress of the house. I feel like he should have a bell ringing for my service. It is now lunchtime. We've been watching TV for about 5.5 hours. So do you want to go outside? We have a big, beautiful backyard. I'm trying to get him away from the TV and outside, but he does not want to have anything to do with it. My biggest fear is that he will grow up to be stunted in his reading and writing skills. He'll be stunted socially. It's 8:30 and it's Dylan's bedtime, but even now he's still going to watch an hour of TV before he goes to bed. Dr. Phil, I feel like a bad mom. How do I prevent my son from being a permanent couch potato?
Dr. Phil.
9 hours a day. What are you thinking? Do you realize that at that number, by the time your child finishes 6th grade, the child will have seen 250,000 acts of violence by watching television? And
That's why I'm here.
Okay, but
I don't want that to happen.
okay, then what part of turn off the TV do you not understand?
People say that to me. I agree, and it sounds simple enough, but that just doesn't work. I'd have to actually physically remove the TVs from my house.
Oh, I'm getting to that.
I know.
I'm getting to that, absolutely. The number one tool of parenting is you have to have a definition of success. You have to have a goal in mind. Isn't your goal that you need to socialize your child?
Yes.
And isn't your goal that you need to develop your child? Yes. And if you have a definition...
Stop right there. Okay. Turn off the TV. Take it with you. We'll go. Hey, let's go outside. No, I want TV. Let's go. No. Okay. Yeah, Mommy, where you going, Mommy? Where you going? I want my TV. I want my TV. Let me go. Bobby, let me go. Let me go, Bobby. You're gonna make me fall. And then, ow. Damn it, Bobby. Turn off the TV. Unplug it. 1 hour a day, go outside. That's simple. Acts of violence can happen. If you let your child watch over 9 hours of TV, they're not going to get socially active, not going to have reading writing skills. All they're going to do is just sit in front of that cue box and then act all violent. How many times your parents were telling you when you were kids, no more television, do your homework, go read a book. That boob cube will rot your brain. That's what we were taught. Go outside. Get active. Get rid of that pot belly. Go outside. Get active. That's what I'm doing. 1 hour a day, get back outside. I'm always active every day. What are some ways that you can raise your child's IQ? We'll explain when we come back. Finally tonight, how well can you raise your child's IQ? How well can you get your child from D's to an A+ in your school? Well, here are some ways that you can raise your child's IQ with a test.
Please write in blue or black pen. These will be going in your portfolio, and you're going to share it with your parents.
John's grades have gone from a B average to a D and a half average.
School is boring.
How can we experience earthquakes in California?
When the teacher calls on me, I could have known the answer, but I don't because I wasn't listening.
He's so capable. He's just not motivated.
Krisha struggles with her self-confidence. It makes me feel bad as a parent. I feel like I haven't done my job.
Sometimes I say negative things to myself, like, I'm not going to get this question or I'm going to fail on it.
When Krisha broke out in hives, then we knew there's a problem here.
I'm nervous when I do this.
Justin is having a hard time focusing and concentrating.
School is like a prison for me. It's long and it's hard and it's really boring.
Justin used to come home a real happy kid. This year, he hasn't had very many good days.
These parents were anxious to raise their children's intellectual performance and their IQs if possible. I sent my mentor, Dr. Frank Lawless, to work with him. He is the supervising psychologist for Mensa, a national organization whose members' IQs are in the top 2% of the population. Dr. Lawless tested and observed each child to measure their base IQ and learn their performance pattern.
These are called matrices.
He then gave them valuable insights into their own self-defeating behavior and gave their parents just a few of the many techniques from my new parenting book to enhance their children's intellectual performance. Remember, these seem simple, but are powerful. John tends to stop breathing.
I didn't know if you were going to survive there for a long time because you didn't take a breath for at least 5 minutes. We're going to talk about how to breathe.
Deep breathing helps children get more oxygen to their brains, essential for good memory, problem solving, and concentration.
Just take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell me how you feel.
I feel great.
Krisha stresses too much.
She gets kind of strung out on tests. She worries a lot about what she did wrong. One of the things that could really help is not being so hard on yourself. Don't worry about it, okay?
To help keep negative thoughts at bay, parents can have their children do rhythmic exercise, like dancing.
Once you feel that rhythm inside,
the release of endorphins is a natural high.
It's the oldest medicine we know.
I'm going to finish that off.
Justin lacks focus.
You need a lot of the answers a lot more complicated than they have to be. I want you to think about it like a martial arts samurai. He lets everything go, focus all of his energy.
By focusing on the task at hand,
I want you to keep focusing on my fist.
Children can weed out distractions and reach a higher level of concentration. The children went home and worked on all 3 exercises and ate more brain food. Processed foods slowed down the brain. Healthy proteins, fruits, and vegetables are proven to help children score higher on tests. Eating blueberries and eggs before a big test can help your child make higher scores.
Are they good?
After 3 weeks, Dr. Lawless retested the children, but even before they got their scores, the children said they felt smarter. In fact, Justin's math grades in school went from a D- to an A in just 4 weeks.
Things have been much easier in school for me. The questions don't seem as hard and I can actually focus now. I don't daydream at all anymore.
Since I've been doing the breathing exercises, my test scores have gone up. I don't say negative things to myself anymore. Now I always say I can do the best I can, and I really do the best I can.
Here are the 3 moms of the children.
That's how you can raise your child's IQ. And if you were to try the blueberries and the eggs before big tests, your child can pass the test and still get A's and B and still get that A. Make that A honorable grade and graduate. How'd you do it? By eating blueberries and eggs. And it's like, blueberries and eggs? You're so freaking weird. I want to slap a blueberry right in your face. It's just that simple. Fine processed foods slow down the brain, while healthy foods help out your brain. Remember this formula. Process slow, healthy fast. Remember this process. And these parents can, and as these parents discover, it can really help your child. It can really help out your child when they're struggling in class. Well, I thought this was going to we're going to continue this on Friday, but the truth is we finished it in the nick of time. So with this in mind, that's Give Me a Break for this Wednesday going to Thursday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Friday. For all of us here at YouTube and Give Me a Break, stop bullying, speak up. Concentration, not strength. And I supervise this. No jaywalking, ever. Even if it's legal in California, you should never jaywalk. I'll see you back here Friday night.